Hey guys, and welcome to Just in It Here. I'm Erandy.
And I'm Julie, and welcome to our first episode. It's official.
I know. I hope you guys enjoyed our little trailer. It took us so long to figure that out. Trying to get this chisme going.
We're being all desesperadas to be chismosas.
Yeah, dude. We're We're Piolín por la tarde today.
Hell, my dad died when you said Violín por la tarde. ¿A qué venimos? A chismear.
We're here to tell you a little bit about us.
Yeah, I feel like in order to start a podcast, I feel like, they have to know who we are and what we do, how we are related, or what connects us. You know what I mean?
Julie's my long lost sister.
Hell yeah. She's my sister from another mother. And see where we come from. And like we said before,
You were like, with these random ass girls are chismeando, at least get to know us.
So that's Randy.
Yeah. Well, I'm Erandy, but all my friends call me Randy.
Erandy.
Yeah, that's what my mom calls me.
Erandy. When we're mad at her.
No one ever calls me Erandy, like with the Spanish accent. No. And then that's Julie, but I call her Juliana Juana Maria.
Yeah. Everyone calls me Julie, but my name is Juliana, which sounds super weird to me because it's so, such a long name.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I'm Julie, and everyone calls me Julie, and everyone and their mothers call me.
Unless I'm like
Julie with the Y.
Oh, July.
July. On my birthday cards. Feliz cumpleaños, July.
Oh, my dad says that too. He's like, Julie.
Everyone. Dude, mi tía me hizo un anillo in Mexico, like back when we were small, and it says July on it, like not even Julie.
Oh my God, they should have asked you. No, but when I really need Julie, I don't know why, just se me pegó de Juliana Juana Maria. And it's easier for me to say that than to say, where's Julie?
But the Juana part came because we once were talking about how
her middle name. She was going to be Juana, guys. Her name was going to be Juana.
I have this aunt who likes to give opinions on everything. And when I was going to be born, my mom didn't have a middle name for me. And she was like, the aunt was like, ponle un medio nombre, ponle Juana, Juliana, Juana. And my mom was like, Juana? She's like, no, mejor le pongo Maria. So I am Maria too.
Yeah, she's Maria.
And I told Randy that story once. I'm like, they wanted to name me Juana. And she's like, Juana? Like,
Juana la Cubana.
Yeah.
That used to be Julie's song. She used to go ham with the Juana. But she's Juliana Juana Maria to me.
Ever since then, she was like, Juliana Juana Maria.
Yeah. And it's so funny because everyone's like, what did you just call her? And I'm like, you don't understand. But me and Julie have been friends, I think, almost 10 years now.
Yeah, if not more.
I think
like friends for sure. 10 years.
Yeah, because I always knew Julie. Because the thing is, though, on the street that Julie lives on, it was a block full of kids. Like, my cousin lives across the street. Our other friend Marlene lives down the street, and our other friend Jessica lives a few houses down from her. So I would always come and visit my cousin. So I always knew Julie since we were little, and our parents were friends.
Yeah, back in Jiquilpan, because we're from Michoacan.
Our parents knew each other, and I would occasionally see Julie at birthday parties or whatever.
Yeah.
But we were never really close.
You can't blame me, because let me tell you something. Randy was that one little girl, así como la vende güerita y todo, right?
Yeah, bien gringa.
Desde chiquita, she was literally, if you picture una niña con el pelo bien chinito, you had light brown hair.
Yeah, it wasn't buena. This is fake.
She had light brown hair. She was really light skinned. Los ojos verdes. Bien flaquita la canija. And she would walk like she owned the block.
Because I did. I high-key did.
But I always tell people till this day, Randy gives a different perspective when you don't know her.
I give creída vibes.
Yeah,
I know this for sure. But I'm not. I'm like, bro, I have a freaking nopal en la frente, bien humilde yo.
I literally tell everyone, I'm like, I was like, just give her a chance when you guys let her, you know what I mean? Get to know her, because she's not what she is. She's that one person that you see her and you're like, ay, que creída.
Even my te told me. She's like, when I first met you, because my te is Julie's
comadre, but con cuña.
Yeah. So Julie's husband, because Julie's married, guys. If you didn't know, she's off the market. So am I, but I got no ring.
Divorce in 10 years, according to my grandpa.
I know, que feo. No divorce. Although if you do, we could have a divorce party, but that's another story.
My grandpa was like, no vas a durar más de 10 años.
Y él ha durado más que 50.
¿Tienes?
Nah, I think he'll last for forever.
I was like, I'm gonna prove you wrong.
I proposed to be we can't get a divorce. My grandpa said that I would, so I'm proving his wrong.
Yeah. No, yeah, but my dad was like, yeah, she told you straight up.
Yeah, my dad straight up told me, she's like, when I saw you, I was like, I didn't expect you to be the person that you are, and I was like, am I better when you meet me? Am I better? But no, if you see me, and I know it because my even Junior tells me, he's like you're bougie. Like, I'm bougie. Junior's Julie's brother. We'll get into that topic
the characters
right now.
and everything. But no, yeah. So when Randy was small, younger, because we were both like, we're only a year and a half difference, no?
Like a year and a month. Because you were born in 98 in November, and I was born 99 in December.
So yeah, a year and a month. So we definitely knew each other, and like we said, our parents were friends. So we've seen each other at parties and stuff, and sí, siempre estaba aquí en la cuadra. But when I met her, I'll never forget. Like, my first memory of Randy was we were at like this one party. I will never forget because she was like, there was like a play park at the back in the backyard of the house, and she was coming down the slide, and like como les digo, tenía su pelo agarrado con su pelo bien chinito, and my hair has always been frizzy, always frizzy. Let me tell you. So my mom never let me have my hair down. And I would see her, and she would have her hair down and curly and stuff. A lo mejor hasta envidia te tenía.
Growing up, she was my hater. Nah, just kidding.
But so she was coming down the slide, and her mom was coming to bring her a hot dog. I will never forget it. And I don't forget it because her mom gave her the hot dog. She's like, Erandy, ven a comer. And Randy didn't want to eat, but her, like, le recibió el hot dog a su mamá. And she had these nails on. And I remember I was like, damn, my dad doesn't let me have nails on. It was like those fake.
And how old were you? We were like hella young. Because my mom, a cada rato, she would put me on the press-ons. For any party, she's like, no, bien arregladita. Y mira cómo ando ahorita. If you guys can't see, if you're listening to this, I don't have any nails on right now. My appointment is until next week.
Pero ella siempre viene hasta la fecha. It has been like bien
cuando hay fiesta, if you see me during the week, it's a different story. Pero cuando hay fiesta, me arreglo.
But yeah. Pero no, it's in that memory that I have of her, she was like sitting at the bottom of the slide with her hot dog y con las uñas like this. Like, I'm no, like, if she had the hot dog like this, she was like this. I'm like, me está presumiendo las uñas. And I was like, damn, no me dejan tener like uñas. And I'm like, yeah, sí. But always like in a good light that I would see her. But that's the first memory I have of her. Y en ese momento I was like, ay, qué creída. But pobrecita, te tenía envidia sin querer, like not even
over
knowing.
Nails, guys, over nails.
It's because my dad didn't let me have nails on. He was
my
so
dad
strict.
Didn't care. My mom was like, tú póntelas.
He was so strict.
My dad was only more strict with my hair because I also used to dye my hair when I was little.
Yeah, I remember.
I think I was like 4th grade with like permanent highlights, like not even the fake ones, permanent. And that was because my mom was like, tú póntelas. My mom was always been the type to be like, tú sí. And my dad was like, well, if your mom's dead, what am I supposed to do? But with my hair, he was like, yeah, que estés pelona. Like, if you have no hair, what are you going to do then?
What are you going to do?
Well, I'll get a wig. I don't know what I'm going to do.
No, I don't think you're going to lose hair that fast.
I hope not. My mom maybe me pase la calvez.
Nah, I don't think so.
My mom
you have a lot of hair.
My dad has more.
Yeah.
I wish I had his head. No tiene piojos ni nada. I'm just kidding, guys. I don't have piojos. I promise.
Have you ever had piojos in the past?
When I was little one time, yeah.
The other day my husband was like, if you never had piojos, no tenías infancia.
Yo sí la tuve.
Dude, pero yo nunca tuve piojos. A lo mejor no me querían.
Yo sí una vez.
When I was
like in 4th grade, I had piojos. And it was because my mom never sent me to school with my hair down. And it was a stage of life that I liked to straighten my hair. Yeah. I was like in 4th grade, and I liked to go to school with my hair down. And ever since then, me empiojé en la escuela. Yeah, and she never sent me to school. You see me in middle school, all of
Maybe
middle
that's
school.
why I never had piojos, because my mom never let me have my hair down. Por lo mismo de que tengo el pelo de escoba.
No, but dude, be grateful, because I would go with my hair down. And si ves, por eso no tienes que tener envidia de la gente, porque no sabes qué les pasa. No, I'm serious. I ended up piojada, like with so many piojos. My mom I'm over here telling you guys I freaking had piojos. No, it's the
Pero
truth.
tuviste infancia.
Yeah.
No manches.
No.
And my sister was a queen of piojos too. Oh my god, every year.
But it's because she had her hair down too, right?
Yeah.
I think it's having her hair down because...
Thank you, mom.
No, like, be grateful, dude. Be grateful. And then after... Because I mean, piojé like 4th grade. And then after that, my mom would always just put my hair up in a ponytail. Or in 2 ponytails. But never ever again down. Like, I had to putting my hair down in high school.
How did we get into piojos?
I don't freaking know. This was supposed to be an introduction of us. Aquí la piojosa over here. Guys, so bad. No, but going back, we're talking about like your first memory of me.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have really bad memory, so I don't remember like when, like my first memory of you. But I do remember there was one time I came to your house after like, I would go to my aunt's house, and I came to your house, and I don't know why. And then we were just hanging out. But it was just like more like we were hella little kids, but it wasn't like we were friends. It was just like, you know, when you're little kids, you play with everybody.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, oh my God, like she's my bestie.
I don't really remember when we became like besties like that. You know what I mean?
It was because, you know what it was? You know when you have like friends in common?
Yeah.
So obviously you were closer to my cousin.
Yeah.
So entonces pues yo ahí andaba de chicle with them.
But even then, because when we were younger, we're talking younger, probably like we were less than 15 years old.
No, we were. I was in her 15.
Yeah.
So we were like definitely like 11 or 12.
Yeah,
for sure.
Probably even a little less than that too. Probably like 10, right? Yeah.
Well, if I was 10, you were 11.
Yeah, you're right. Porque yeah, because you would always be across the street. It's because in the block that I live on, it's like half a Jiquilpan. Just kidding. It's not that.
It's not that, but like, yeah.
There a lot of people from El Pueblo. So we would hang out with them. And it was a lot of kids. And we would all play outside. We'd play soccer, kickball, football. So we'd play everything. Or we just hang out, play jump rope, whatever it was. And you would always be over because they were your cousin's house. And then we're like always with us. Yeah.
But I would only come like on the weekend though.
And she would always come with her McDonald's.
Oh, it's because no, my mom would always, that was like our little tradition.
Yeah.
We would leave the house and she's like, vamos a comer McDonald's.
Yeah.
So we would eat McDonald's and then come here.
Yeah, I remember. And she would always show us the new toys. Because you were one to always have like all the new stuff too.
Because my mom would always give me the Happy Meal. That wasn't, yeah. And my mom always had a rule. She was like, vamos a ir a las tiendas. But you can only get one toy.
Nice.
So she's like, no. Like she was nice, but she had her limit. So I'm like, okay, fine. But yeah.
But little did we know we were just going to have so much in common. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Who knew we were going to be besties 10 years later? Like, still besties. Because I remember me pegaba de chicle with my cousin. Yeah. Because you were for sure friends with my cousin. Yeah, like, you knew her more than you knew me.
Yeah.
And then we would start hanging out. And I remember when it was your quince, around that time, I was even shook. She asked me. I was like, me? Like, you want me there? Like, this is Julie's quince was, I think, my first. No,
was it really?
No, my second quince. But, like, my first quince that it wasn't somebody related to me.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So then I'm like, damn, like, this is like, you didn't have to ask me, you know? So
yeah, that's when we got, like, really close.
Yeah. And then growing up, I remember I used to love hanging out with Julie because my dad was strict. My dad was nice, but my dad was strict. But Julie is the person, and it's so funny to me because she's just like, she's like, whatever about it. But to me, it's just so funny because if my parents knew Julie was going, they would let me go because they knew Julie was so responsible.
It's crazy to think about. Maybe we'll get into another episode. I think we both have really strict dads.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was more afraid of my dad than I was of the cops or of anyone.
Yeah.
So if yo para hacerle un mal a mi papá, fuck, la pensaba 3, 4, 5, 6 veces.
And my parents knew that. Like, they knew Julie was, like, respectful, that responsible. Like, she was, like, if Julie was going, I was in good hands. So my parents were like, bye, Julie. And I'm like, yeah. It's like, okay.
Yo, you remember when we asked for permission to go somewhere?
Yeah.
It's like, voy a estar en el lugar con Julie.
Yeah, I'm like, but Julie's going. And so, as long as Julie was there, like, I was allowed to go wherever.
And it wasn't just her. It was Marlene. Sometimes even Yane too, where they would ask them and it would just be like, oh, bye, Julie. And then like,
Julie was like the mom of the group.
Yeah.
So if she was going, we were set.
I was definitely the mom.
For sure. Y ahora no.
Ahora me vale madre todo.
Ahora es la desmadrosa.
I'm like, my dad can't do anything to me now. I'm married.
Like, my husband don't care. And then going out like that, and then we for sure got super, super close when it was when you learn how to drive. Because then when you learn how to drive, andámonos por todos lados. We would go out like every Friday. Remember us four, you, me, Jess, and Marlene.
Oh my God. You remember the first time we grabbed the cart?
Dude, we were scared.
Yeah, I was the first one to learn how to drive, right?
Yeah, you were.
So my dad taught me how to drive we had a blue Tahoe. Esa pinche Tahoe.
Duro.
Yeah.
She taught everybody.
She taught everyone. He was teaching me how to drive and stuff. Y yo, like, no me la soltaba, like, for nothing. You know what I mean?
By herself, no.
So, nomás, like, he would let me drive it around so I could keep on practicing and stuff. But the first time que en realidad me la soltó was for Marlene's birthday. Oh, remember? Because it was raining.
Yeah, and
we wanted to go to Taco Bell. You remember? Yeah, that was the first. So that's when I think we all got close because we're like, oh, préstame la troca. And y así nos íbamos.
Yeah, we would always end up at freaking Buffalo Wild Wings. There was a Buffalo in our town. Oh, it's not there anymore. But there was a Buffalo in our town. Y ahí andábamos todos los viernes. And then we'd go to the movies. We'll tell that story another day. What happened to us at the movies? But
oh my god.
I don't think I've gone back to the movies with you guys ever since that.
No, pues ni ganas me dejaron.
No, and then
No, we did. No, you didn't go see Spider-Man with us?
no,
No, your brother did. Never mind, you didn't go.
no, I didn't go.
It's just history from there. We just hang. Then, it was my senior year.
Yeah, dude, I almost failed 11th grade because I was always out with Julie.
But it was her fault because she was like, let's go out to lunch. And we're like, let's go.
And Julie didn't care. She was a senior, and I was still in 11th grade. I remember I got in trouble.
Yeah.
My mom had to go talk to the assistant principal. Dude, the calendar was more red que nada.
We'd go to lunch, and then we'd get lazy, and then we'd just come home and chill.
Yeah, and it was back when Julia had a little dog named Chamoy.
Oh, yeah.
So then, freaking Chamoy.
Se perdió Chamoy, ya no volvió.
Yeah. So we would come and like hang out with her dog.
Yeah.
But he was cute until he grew up, then he turned a little ugly.
He had a cute personality. Pobre perro. Yeah, then what happened after that?
I don't know. And then we're just kind of like, we're kind of besties ever since.
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
But
Continuing.
Yeah, and continuing. Al rato la agarro de las greñas y ya no quiero estar con.
No, but the good thing is, I think we've only ever gotten into like maybe one disagreement.
Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, like, I don't think we've ever had like any issues. Even if we don't agree on something, nunca es como que like,
Yeah.
like, no, like that kind of thing. It's just like,
And
okay.
even that one disagreement was kind of like a misunderstanding because it was like a whole different thing, right?
Yeah. But it was more like miscommunication.
Yeah.
Eso. But even then, it wasn't anything serious. Like, it literally happened for like a minute y se nos quitó.
Yeah.
You know?
Pero sí nos dolió el alma. A mí sí me dolió.
Yeah, we were like, no, friend. I think one of us even cried, no?
Yeah.
Pero aquí estamos,
Yeah.
recuperadas.
Aquí andamos chismeando.
Then we have a lot in common.
Yeah.
What we have in common is that, and we're going to get into this topic, we're both older sisters.
Yeah.
And then plot twist. Our younger siblings, my sister, and her brother are dating. So even if I didn't want to, she's always going to be in my life.
Yeah. But que queden claro que we were friends first.
Yeah. We're the reason they're together.
Yeah.
Because,
yeah.
and you know what I love about our families is that, like, we're all friends.
Yeah.
In a sense that, like, my parents are friends with her parents, me and her are friends, and we're around the same age. And then my sister and your brother se llevan como 2 años.
Mm-hmm.
And they were friends, too.
Yeah.
And then, the little ones, they're, like, more apart. But even then, they still play.
But even Alex is the cutest thing ever because cuando viene sometimes after school, he's like, where's Julie? And I'm like, hey, you know what I mean? So he's very cute and someone like to always talk to. And Jen, let me introduce my family. I have my mom and my dad, right? Then there's my brother Gerardo, which I call him Junior, who's right under me. He's 3 years younger. And then after him, there's Jen, which is Genesis.
Yes.
Which, thanks to Randy, she's the most sassiest person I know.
I love Jen. Growing up, it's because, you know, we'll go into detail on how our relationships are with our siblings.
Yeah.
But when Jen was around 3, dude, I was like, no, I have to build her to make sure that no one can bully her. That no one can test her. Because I'm like, no, like, the world is really rough. So I would make her so sassy. I'm like, no, you have to stand your ground. And she was 3. But now, thanks to that, like, she's sassy, doesn't let anybody walk over her.
Like, nobody. I'm like, who the hell do you think you're talking to?
Yeah.
I'm like, Rand, come control your animal.
I love her. Good, because like that, you know, no one will step on her. So I'm gonna do that to everybody's kids.
Yeah, and then you have Karen.
Oh, and then in my family, obviously, my mom, my dad. Shout out to them for making me. But then I have my sister, she just turned 19, and then my little brother, which is 9. So big age gap there.
So Junior and Karen are dating.
Yeah, Junior and Karen are dating, and then Alex is just living life, you know.
Yeah, he's little peso plumita right now.
Yeah, little pee-pee.
Little pee-pee.
Yeah, it's little pesito pluma.
That's cute.
Growing up, being an older sister was rough.
Yeah.
Thing is, though, although we're both older sisters, we went through a whole bunch of different stuff. Because I know that growing up for me, I feel like I lo tuve más duro que Karen.
For sure. Karen's the middle child. But even, at least in my case for Jen, that chick, if she doesn't want to go to school, she doesn't go to school.
No, and dude, the same thing would happen with Karen. My mom, if I felt sick, go to school, the nurse will check you out.
Yes.
And if the nurse thinks you're sick, she'll send you home.
Yeah.
Karen, when she got cramps, oh no puede ir a la escuela porque tiene cramps. She would call the school, be like, oh no, she's not feeling good, like she's not going in today. And I'm like, when was that for me?
Exactly. Parents try their best for sure. I have more communication with my mom for sure because como que le tengo más confianza a ella. And I always tell her that I'm like, I know you guys tried your best, but y'all were tough on at least on me and I guess on you too.
Yeah, they were tough.
And que ni se diga mi papá. And because my dad, when he was growing up, his parents were super tough, but he could have chose to cut that cycle off and he didn't. And he was very strict on me. So like I kind of stated before a little, I was afraid of my dad. I think that's, yo siento que there's one thing to have respect to your parents and there's another thing to be afraid of your parents. And I was for sure afraid of my dad.
No, I think I was too, but in a sense that like I wasn't with my mom. She was always like more like mi amiga.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
me too.
So then, but dude, también me daba mi putiza. Mi mom, sí. My dad, thank God, bless his soul, because his hands are so freaking big, pero nunca me chingó. I'm so serious. Nunca me chingó, no. And I bless his soul for that. That's where my dad puso paro, because when my grandpa was tough on them.
¿A tu papá nunca te chingó?
Nah.
¿Y tu mamá sí te chingaba?
No, stop. You know what happened to me one time? Una vez, I guess I wasn't paying attention and I was walking away, right? And I remember this. Yo me quería morir. I wanted to die. I was crying hysterically, and I remember it because there's just certain traumas you remember.
Yeah, for
Dude,
sure.
me aventó la chancla. Pero ni duro. Just the fact that I was walking away and he was calling me, no hacía caso. Me la aventó así, paz. And then I looked back, and just the fact that he threw it at me, it broke my heart. And I was crying, and he was like, I told him, I was like, why would you ever do that to me? And then he felt bad. He was like, ni te las aventé tan duros, solo para que me hicieras caso. And then he felt bad after. But I think that was the first time that I was like, damn, you put your hands on me, bro. But other than that, no. Pero mi mamá sí nos chingaba. My mom would, más que todo unas nalgadas, supuestamente para que me creciera la nalga. But bro, it didn't grow that far. Like she was like, una nalgadita para que te crezca. And I was like, what the heck, girl?
I think we can probably get into that topic
another time on our parental traumas, girl, because I have
daddy issues.
I have daddy issues, mommy issues, everything issues.
What's one thing that you remember, like me being as in the oldest sibling? My siblings haven't gone through that.
Oh my God. What can I talk about? There's so many. I remember las regañadas. Dude, I took them all for Karen. And I did it as I felt like I had to protect her, because I felt like, in my sense, like when my dad me estaba regañando, my mom wouldn't say anything. Like, so then I was like, no, I need to shield Karen para las regañadas. So I felt like I always took them, and Karen never had to go through any regañadas. Like, or I remember growing up, I was always responsible for Karen, even if I didn't like want to. I remember one time, and it was on your street. Yeah. I was so pissed that day. I growing up, I didn't like Karen. For the same reason that I was responsible for her and I didn't want to be.
I feel like our parents like didn't put that responsibility on us, but it was kind of pushed, right?
Yeah, like you're the oldest one.
And you kind of like, as the oldest, you have like this instinct to like do it in a way, I guess.
Because they're your little people. But then at the same time, it's like, bro, I'm freaking 10 taking care of like, how old was she? Like 6? And I'm like, bro, I don't want this for me. Like, I didn't have her.
Or you're like, Karen, don't do that porque te van a regañar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like certain stuff that you're like...
Going back to what happened on your street, I remember it wasn't even my fault, but just the fact that I was there and didn't take care of her. I remember me dieron una regañada, my dad. Because I guess Karen was playing tug of war with somebody. Karen fell. And I remember I got in trouble for it. And I was like, bro, like, I hated her. And it was because everything that she would do, it was my fault.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, damn, like, girl, like, you're never, like, held accountable. And it was also my fault because I would do it to protect her.
Yeah.
Para que no le regañaran.
And it was a lot of responsibility for a little kid, you know?
Yeah, like, I'm like, girl, you didn't go through anything I went through. Like, be grateful.
One thing for sure that I remember was being a translator. Oh, my God. Because, at least for me, Spanish was for sure my first language, and English was something I struggled with forever. Like, till this day. Pero my parents thought I knew every freaking word in the dictionary.
Oh my God. And didn't they make you like read their letters and stuff? Like, ¿qué me dice?
I'm like, I don't know what this, till this day I probably don't know what half the thing means.
Oh, I would get in trouble. And
if
I didn't know a word, my dad would be like, ¿y pa' qué vas a la escuela?
Me. Oh
I'm like, I'm sorry, in 3rd grade, they didn't teach me what thesaurus was. Like, what do you want me to say?
I was like, yo no sé qué significa eso. Oh my God, it was so bad.
Dude, hasta la fecha, they still do that. They're like, read me this text. What does it say?
Like, I was telling my mom the other day because le llegó the letter from my brother for him to renew his license or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I told Junior, I'm like, oh, you have to renew your license. And he was like, how do I do that? And I'm like, I don't know, read the thing. I was like,
No,
I was like, it'll tell you.
They depend on you a lot, no?
Mm-hmm. And then, but I was telling my mom, I'm like, dude, I will never forget. I was 12 years old. They took me to the DMV to fill out the DMV papers. I'm like,
For them?
for them, yes. Like, how the hell does a 12? Go take Jen to do the DMV papers. Let's see if she can figure it out.
No, it's hard. And to this day, I feel like, not for nothing, I can't speak for you, but I'll speak for me. I feel like I did to myself. In a sense that, like, I'm so good, girl. Like, I'm so good at everything that
really?
they depend on me. Dude, tell me, Karen's 19, dude. She doesn't know anything about insurance of her car. I pay, like, she'll send me the money, but I take care of that. Everything to do with her car, her registration, her stuff. Even to, you know what she told me? To help her make an appointment for her driver's license online. Like, girl, the steps are there.
Yeah.
The steps are there.
And I don't think we're just bashing our siblings, because that's not what it is. It's just, I feel like our generation, or the first generation kids, or I don't know what
Los
it is.
primeros.
We had to figure shit out.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what I'm saying. Like, I did it on myself.
Yeah.
Because I always knew the answer, and I felt like it was easier for me to do it than to have to show them.
Exactly.
Now, at times, I'm like, girl, like, you don't know how to do this? Like, it's common sense to me. But it's because no tuve de otra. I didn't have anybody like to tell me. And I feel like also, like, what kind of, like, we had no other choice was that we also couldn't really rely on our parents, like, in a sense, to, like, figure it out, because they were just as lost as us.
Exactly. Because was homework hard for you?
Well, my mom signed me up for my mom. I love her. She's the reason I know how to speak English and Spanish, dude. Because my mom signed me up for the, how would you call it? Like, the dual language program.
Yeah.
Because she was like, por lo menos, like, I can help you with the Spanish homework.
Yeah.
And then what also helped me out a lot was that when I was in elementary school, my parents, like, rented out a room with mi madrina's house.
Oh, yeah.
So then they had 2 older kids. So any homework that I didn't understand, my mom would ask either Jennifer or David, that's their names.
Yeah.
So she would ask them, like, oh, can you please help her with her homework? Like, anything that I didn't understand in English. And my mom would help me with the Spanish.
Yeah, because I was supposed to be in that program too, pero I forgot. Well, maybe my mom, I don't know how it works. Se llenó la escuela, so ya no había espacio for me. So they sent me to the whitest school, no Spanish whatsoever. And I'll never forget that my mom was sitting next to me with a dictionary. And we would just translate everything, like, on every question. We would up to the age where I understood it myself. But that was probably, I was going to repeat 1st grade. My mom begged the teacher.
Because of the language?
Because of the language.
Damn.
She begged the teacher, like, mandala to summer school. And I went to summer school that year.
Because of the language. Oh my God.
Yes.
No, and it's hard. And I feel like not a lot of people talk about it because de por sí being the first ones, you kind of have to figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like, also having to figure it out for your parents, because our parents came here and they didn't have no guidance.
And I respect that, because that's can you imagine leaving your, like, country or everything you know?
And coming here all lost, girl. I could barely go to the corner store, like, by myself.
Like, I can't imagine, like, they tell me, you know what, it's time to go to Mexico. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I couldn't.
Or, like, maybe because we know the Spanish language, pero maybe, let's say,
like, going to France right now.
Exactly.
I would be perdida.
Yeah, because we don't know the language. We don't know what's up. You know what I mean? It's certain. So I respect them coming over here and all the sacrifices they did for us. But for sure, it was something that, like, us growing up was tough.
Like, now that I look about it, because growing up, I know we had it, like, harder than, like, our younger ones. And I look at Alex, my little brother, little. I'm like, bro, like how you're going back to, like, el miedo.
Yeah.
Bro, he's not scared of my dad. No,
oh my God,
he's
so
like,
true.
he's like, no, you're not gonna talk to me like that. And I'm like, bro, like, I know, I helped him, like, amoldarse to that too, like, I did with John. But I'm like, dude, I would be scared to talk to my dad when I was little.
But probably even then, your dad probably isn't as tough as he was. Or I don't know, maybe he is. I don't know.
No, I feel like he's changed too. Like,
Exactly.
he's evolved. But I'm like, yo, why didn't I get that dad?
Exactly. And that's what I tell Jen. I'm like, and I'm happy that Jen has that relationship with my dad, because I'm like, good for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get the father-daughter relationship that I didn't have. So I'm happy for her. I guess when I was a child, I remember saying, I was like, I'm gonna move out at 18. Y quién sabe qué tanta cosa. I didn't want to be home anymore. Yeah, no, not now. Not with this rent.
No, it's so expensive.
Pero era yo creo era mi enojo. It was the fear I had. I just wanted to leave. But I think about it now and I'm like, okay, I'm glad it happened to me.
And not to her.
And not to them.
Yeah, to both of them.
Because my brother had it a little bit, pero at least Jen didn't.
But I feel like for you it was different. Because you grew up like a girl and a boy. So the expectations, regardless of that you were the older, I feel like it was different because the expectations were different because Junior was a boy.
Yeah, yeah.
But for me, I felt like it wasn't fair because not for nothing, like with me, I'm like, we're both girls.
Yeah,
and I'm older and she's younger. So I feel like for you, like your expectations are probably a little different. Like growing up when it was just you and Junior. I'm referring to that because now growing up with Alex, now, dude, like I'm Alex's mom at sometimes. Like, habita más conmigo than with my mom because my mom's working.
¿No te pasa que sometimes hasta te piden las cosas a ti and you know what I mean? I'm like, where's your mom?
Yeah. And then what Alex is like, hey, can you take me to Target? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, like when you're free on Saturday, can we go?
That's
like,
Jen.
Yeah. And I'm like, damn, like, and I'm grateful now. And I'm like, damn, like, okay, like que tiene la confianza to come to me, you know, like I'd rather him come to me with whatever he needs. And I've always told him that. And Karen, same thing. Like I'm Karen's like other mother.
Yeah. And I, Junior too. And it's probably the same thing that they've seen us as the oldest and they look up to us. And isn't that hard that they look up to us sometimes?
Yeah, because the thing is though, like I see it with Karen, like the stuff that I went through, like mentally, like I see her going through it and I'm like, damn, like I wish I could help you, but I know like me telling you is not gonna make you any better. Like you have to figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
And then sometimes like with school, like we go to different colleges, and then she'll be like, can you help me, like you did this already? And I was like, girl, like I don't know how your school works. So she'll get stressed out over that. And then like I feel like I have to do certain things because I'm like, damn, Karen's gonna look and then like she's gonna be like, why are you doing that? Karen wasn't always like that. Like she wasn't the type to look up to me. If anything, she used to be like embarrassed of me.
Oh, because, she was telling us that one time.
She was like embarrassed of me. And the thing is though, like for a long time I used to care a lot about what people said about me. Like, but then I realized like even my family like would talk down on me, you know, and like if I went left, it was bad. If I went right, it was bad. Like I couldn't figure it out until I was like, you know what, like they're gonna say regardless. So I'm just gonna do my stuff. And Lisa chiquita, and I'm not condoning this, I'm not telling you to do this, but I was a drunkie. Like when I was little, dude.
You guys.
And then, but the thing is, what I'm getting into was that Karen was little. I think I was like 14 and she was 10. And she would tell me, she's like, do you know how embarrassing it is that people see you drunk? Like, what are the people going to say about me that you're my sister? Like
she would tell you
she would tell me that. She was 10. And she was so embarrassed of me. And I'm like, bro, like I'm just trying to live my life.
Yeah.
That's why for a long time, me and Karen didn't get along. Like, we were sisters, and, like, I loved her. I had love for her as a sister. But I'm like, bro, like, you're not fun to hang around with. Because she had the mentality of, like she had to be my mom.
Yeah.
Like, dice chiquita, like, my mom le metía ideas de como que cuida tu hermana, like, that kind of thing. And I was like, bro, like, you're not my mom. You don't have to do that.
Right.
Like, she would take care of me because since I was little, I've always had, like, really bad anxiety.
So,
but she was ashamed of me in a sense that, like, and I was like, bro, like, why are you so embarrassed? Like, I'm so fun. And then she's like, no, like, what are people going to say about me? And I'm like, no one is going to care that my 10-year-old sister, like, you know, like, who's going to say, like, oh, she's going to turn out just like her sister? Like, what?
Yeah, no, it's probably her thought. And maybe she was close to your mom, too. That's probably why it
Or, no, I think it was she was trying to impress my mom.
Okay, that could be too.
I was always closer to my mom, and she was closer to my dad.
Oh, yeah.
But I was like, girl, I don't need another mother. Like, hello. We laugh about it now because now me and Karen are close.
Yeah.
So now it's like, oh, it's like forgotten or whatever.
And now that they're older, they understand us more. You know what I mean?
Like you can't judge somebody unless you're like living through what they live through.
Yeah.
And that's like really important because unless I've gone through it, me quedo callado.
Yeah. Now, for sure, that's what I live by. I'm like, I'm no one to like judge. And you know what I mean? Like, even though we're young, we've been through shit. And I feel like everyone goes through stuff at their own pace and stuff. But for sure, I think we matured very fast.
Yeah. I wanted to live life rapidly. And you know what it also was? That in our friend group, we were the youngest ones. Yeah, we were young.
Yeah.
Like, we would hang out with older people. Yeah. So they were always older, and we would sometimes go out with like their friends.
Yeah.
So we had to like mature fast.
Yeah, yeah. With our friend group, we kind of wanted to hang out with them more, so we had to act more of their age group. But even the fact that like our parents put so much responsibility on us and so much like reliability on us, I feel like that also pushed us to mature a little bit faster in compared to the new generation now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we had the responsibility of like picking up anything our parents couldn't handle.
Exactly.
In a sense.
And they would rely on us, you know, with small stuff. Not tampoco voy a decir que like I would like freaking
like they didn't tell me to calentar los like freaking tortillas or nada, like not like that.
No, yeah, tampoco like that. But like certain stuff where like my mom would like need translation or help filling out a form or sending a text message, as simple as that. You know what I mean? O a veces mirábamos que at least in my household se estresaban like with bills and stuff. You know what I mean?
Like how to pay them and stuff.
Exactly.
Like not even like filling out the forms, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, it would be kind of like, ¿será que vamos a completar para esto? You know what I mean? Or just certain stress that like a veces no nos alcanzaba para unas ciertas cosas.
Yeah, and it's stuff that like us as little kids, like maybe we didn't need to know about.
Yeah.
But because we were the oldest ones, like pa que sepas, you know, like those kind of things.
And maybe they didn't do it purposely, but we would see it. We would observe it. And now that I'm older, I'm thankful for it. But for sure, as a kid at the time, was a little bit traumatizing. But it's okay.
We have a lot of older sister trauma.
For sure.
Yeah.
I guess what's a pro of being an older sister?
The good thing is though, like you have little helpers.
Yeah.
Dude, whenever.
That's so true.
I think the one benefit is that like you have like a built-in bestie.
Yeah.
I think that for sure. Because I look at Alex and Karen and I'm like, yo, those are my besties now.
Yeah. The little helper, I can relate to that so much because I would tell Jen, I'm like, Jen, go get me your phone. I'll give you $1. And that's how I...
Or I'll tell Alex, yo, do me a favor. Can you get me a water? Mm-hmm. And then he'll say, I always do so many favors for you, but I never ask you for anything. And I'm like, thank you. That's what being a brother's for.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think also have always someone to hang out with. I remember a funny story is I asked for Karen.
Did you really?
I asked for her. Yes, I did. So I grew up with mi madrina. She had 2 older kids. So I would see that Jennifer and David would play together all the time. Uh-huh. So and it was just me. And I told my mom, I was like, how come I don't have anybody to play with? You know? So then I was like, why can't I have somebody? And then I guess my parents like made the decision. Like my mom felt bad seeing me play with my dolls by myself because sometimes like Jennifer and David weren't home, so I was just me and my mom. Sometimes like she would play with me, but it wasn't the same. Yeah, you know, it's like having a little kid to play with. So then after they had Karen, and they had Karen because my mom felt bad. And I tell Karen all the time, I'm like, girl, you're here because of me. No, she had Karen because she felt bad looking at me play by myself. And I'm so glad Karen was a girl, because if she was a boy, I feel like, I don't know your bond with your brother, but I feel like my bond with my sister, it's like with sisters, you know, like sister vibes.
With my brother, I don't think, my mom says that she would see me playing, because me and my brother are only 3 years and a half apart, and she says that she would always see me playing like in the mirror, like by myself y eso, but I don't think that meant I wanted a brother, you know. She was like, querías un hermanito que jugaba solo en el espejo. My mom says when he was a baby, I low-key did not like him, like me encelé bien gacho, you know what I mean?
Te tumbaron del burro.
When we were younger, like super era una peleadera, dude. Like una cosa que like we would probably like play for like total of 3 hours during like the whole 24, and the rest of that was like fighting. Like era una cosa que una peleadera, but it wasn't like crazy like agarrando las greñas. It would be like, oh, I want to play with that, and he'd want to play with that. I want to do this, and he would play this. I would do something and he'd follow me and certain stuff like that. Pero there was a certain age where he got older, and I guess he kind of stopped fighting and just started being friends. And Junior, for sure, even though he's a guy, is definitely my best friend. And it's different perspective because he's a guy perspective and I'm a girl perspective. But I feel like sometimes he can relate to me and I can relate to him, even though it's like a whole different opposite sex thing. I feel like the companionship that we have and the connection we have and the things that we both went through certain stuff together. And that we remember that only both of us understand.
And then that makes like a good bond.
Yeah, because there's certain things I'm like, dude, do you remember when this? And he'd be like, yeah, dude. And he's like, that's crazy. I'm like, Jen would never have gone through that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or she could never relate to going through those stuff. I remember with Karen, I think when Karen realized that like the life that she was living was not the life that she wanted, was when we became friends.
Yeah.
Because Karen, she was a prude, and I tell her all the time, I'm like, you were a prude, and she looks back at it and she's like, I was young, like she was little. I think we started being friends after Karen graduated 8th grade. Yeah. I've only been friends with Karen, like friends with Karen, for like maybe 5 years.
Okay, so
it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But like I've always like played with her, whatever. Pero para decir como que that's my bestie.
Yeah.
After she graduated 8th grade, because that's when she realized that like she didn't want to be a prude. You know, no quería estar así amargada. Like,
yeah.
era bien, like, she was very serious. Like, she's always been funny. She's so funny to be around.
Yeah.
But she's always been very, like, my mom, you know? And I think she, like, resents that growing up. Like, I tell her all my crazy stories, and we have hella crazy stories.
A lot.
Yeah. And then she's like, damn, like, I never did that. And I'm like, you missed out, girl. And it was because she was the way she was. So I feel like if it wasn't for Karen changing, because I couldn't change Karen. Like, you can't change somebody.
It's experience that changes you.
Yeah, until like you do it upon yourself to change.
Yeah.
That's when Karen and me became besties. And then with Alex, I didn't really like Alex. I didn't like babies.
How old are you when Alex was born?
I was 14.
You were older already.
Yeah, I was 14. And the thing is with Karen, I don't remember Karen being a baby. Like, my memory doesn't remember. So I think I remember Karen when she was like 4 or 5. That's like my earliest memory. Thing with
me and Junior.
So I don't remember if I liked her or didn't like her as a baby.
I don't remember that either. My mom was the one who told me that I didn't like him. Pero for me, Jen was literally, I always say it till this day, Jen saved me without her knowing.
No, I think Alex did too, but I didn't like Alex until he was like at least 8 months old.
Because before Jen came into our lives, my mom was pregnant of another baby that que se le vino. Y era una niña, and it was Jess. I think everything happens for a reason, and that for sure changed my whole family, like completely did a whole 360. And I always tell Jen to this day, I'm like, you literally saved us. When Jen was born, forget it. Era mi muñeca, güey.
Like the light of the house.
Yeah. And yo la peinaba. I remember at 9 months, I wanted her to sleep with me already.
Really?
Yeah.
Yo le tenía miedo a Alex.
Really?
It was because I've always had a phobia. Y con Nata se me ha quitado. But I've always had, because I'm just like, they're so tiny and they could break. Like they're so fragile. So I've always been scared of babies. If I were to hold a baby, not now because Nata me lo quitó, but I would tense up and I would be so scared.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, like they're so defenseless. So I didn't like Alex. Pero ahorita anda como mi chicle.
Con Jen, como te digo, she would sleep with me desde bien chiquita. When I learned how to do her hair, I would always do her hair. I'd always change her. And then there was a certain point in time where I didn't want her to follow me anymore, and she'd just be following me. Jen is like, I always say, she's my daughter that I never had, because desde chiquita she was always with me, and I was always with her. The connection I have with Junior, it's more of like a sibling relationship. You know what I mean?
And with Jen, it's more like mom and daughter.
Exactly. Even though she's my sister. Sin querer queriendo.
Yeah, no, with Alex too. Like, he'll ask me, like, oh, can you buy me this? Yeah. And I'm like, yo no trabajo para ti. Like, ask your dad.
Yeah.
And I end up buying it for him because I'm like, damn, like, you're my little kid, you know? Yeah. And I tell everybody, I'm like, that's my kid.
They probably ask you too, ¿es tu hijo? You know what I mean?
I take him with me everywhere. Like, when he's sick, who does he go to work with? Me. If there's an emergency or whatever, they call me.
Now that I'm older and I have a little bit more responsibilities and stuff, and more that I have my husband, I have to tell Jen sometimes. I'm like, hey, dude, you have to go tell my mom. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, cuando tengo tiempo, pues nada me cuesta. But like, sometimes I'm like, go tell mom, you know?
And now it's like you're setting boundaries.
Yeah, because it's hard. And I think about it, I'm like, damn, time flew. Like, it really did.
She's like 13.
She's 13 already. And when I tell you that, I remember the day I met her in the hospital, the day that she came home. I remember everything from Jen.
And with Junior?
And I feel like, and with Junior, no. I remember me and him fighting in the living room, but we were older, right? He was probably like 6-7 years old. Memories of like when we were kids. Mm-hmm. But with Jen, literally, I remember her growing up. All the pictures Jen has is because of me. You know what I mean? And certain stuff that I'm like, so the relationship I have with Jen, it's definitely more like a mom-daughter thing. And that's why now that we're older and I have my responsibilities, I'm like, you don't have to push her back to my mom. We had a little churro.
We had a churro break courtesy of our sponsors of today's podcast, which is Dulce Antojos.
Dulce Antojos. Mini pancakes.
Satisfy your cravings. Their Instagram and user information will be linked down below on the YouTube description.
And use our code for 15% off. Just kidding. They're cheap as fuck.
Yeah. After going over the pros and cons of being an older sister, I don't think I would change it.
I wouldn't either.
Because I feel like being an older sister for sure shaped me how I am now.
Yeah.
Not for nothing, se me quitaron algunas veces las ganas to be a mom. Because I'm like, I already did it with Alex. Like, why I need to do that now?
There was a point in time where I'm like, I don't want to be a mom.
Because it's like, you already raised Jen, you know?
Yeah.
So, and the same thing with me, with Alex. I'm like, I already have a kid. You know what? I need another one. I wouldn't change anything.
No, yeah. And like I said, I think everything we went through was it was meant to happen to us. You know what I mean? Because I feel like if it were to happen, if I were to know that it happened to my brother, I think it'd break my heart, or even to Jen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For instance, Karen's going through a couple things. like that I have gone through.
Yeah.
And I know how sucky it is to go through that. And I'm like, I wouldn't want you to go through that. So I try to help her and guide her. I'm like, you need to do this, you need to do that, because I've been through it and I know how terrible it feels.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, no, like you're not built for this life. Like, you're not built for the older sister life. To go through like what we went through, having our parental issues now. They wouldn't survive.
Yeah, no.
They would be lost for sure.
¿No te ha pasado que a veces le has reclamado a tus parents?
Like, ¿por qué con ella no?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes I feel resent towards Karen. But I know it's not healthy.
Yeah.
Because the problem was not Karen.
Yeah, exactly.
The problem was probably my parents.
Yeah.
In my head, for example, if I felt like, why didn't she have to fall? You know, to shape her like me, to be like me. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to realize, like, the problem was not Karen.
Yeah.
Like, Karen tiene sus defectos or whatever, but I can't hold her accountable for what my parents did.
Now that we're older is when we see it. Because for sure when we were younger, if someone would have told us that, no le hubiéramos hecho caso.
No, I would have been like, no, it's her fault. Like, it's her fault.
Yeah.
And it's not. For a long time, like, me and Karen are in our relationship, like, she knew that I hated her. And I feel bad. And now I try to make up for it. And I'm like, no, like, we're best friends. And, like, I give Karen the world. I do, because I know for a long time, she knew I hated her. And she would try her best to be my friend. And I'm like, I don't want to be a friend.
And even now, like, talking present time, right now they started their small business, right?
Yeah.
Together. Which is crazy, because I'm like, if life would have told us, y'all going to be friends. Your siblings are going to, you know what I mean? We wouldn't have believed it, I feel like.
No.
And if they would have said, you know, and they're going to have a small business that you guys are going to help them from the bottom of their heart.
They are our employers.
they're going to take us out of the hood.
Yeah, they're going to take us out the hood, and we're going to be working for them.
So I'm proud of them.
I am. I see them working hard, and I know that for them, especially them two, knowing how they are, a ellos, like, les pesa pedir ayuda.
Yeah.
You know? And I feel like also, like, they have their own, like, middle child, like,
that
trauma
we will not understand.
that we won't understand, because we didn't go through that. Like, that was not our life experience. I know, seeing both of them, like, they want to comerse el mundo todos.
Yeah.
It's okay to ask for help. You know, that's what we're here for. So, like, when life is too hard, like, me, I don't know about you, but, like, nos aventamos, like, to help them with whatever we can.
No, yeah, for sure.
Especially with their business, because sometimes se le hace complicado. Like, they get overwhelmed. I know for sure both of them, they get overwhelmed quick.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So then that's when me and Julie step in. And it's so funny because we're, like, friends, but, like, we step in.
It's like, okay, word.
Yeah.
Modo trabajar.
Yeah. No, and it's funny because todos tenemos la confianza.
Yeah.
You know?
Going back to the topic of being the older siblings, it was definitely hard, but I feel like it was worth it, I think, at the end.
It was worth it. And seeing them, I know with their business, que empezaron, they kind of doubted themselves at the beginning. But I know Karen told me, you and Julie were the only ones that believed it, that we could do this.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Like, we're always going to have your backs. That's for sure. Like, you know, if she wants to go jump off a bridge, I'm like, I'm going to make sure the bungees work. Whatever they set their mind to, I know they could do it because I can see the potential in them. Because we raised them.
Exactly. And we're there to push them, just exactly how we were pushed a little. We're going to push them.
But, like, in a nicer way, though.
Less traumatizing.
Yeah. So they don't have older sibling trauma. But I'm pretty sure they probably do. And we'll get them on here for an episode.
Yeah.
So we can dissect their little middle child brains. Because, ironically, they're both middle childs.
Yeah, I don't know how the middle child.
I know, like, through TikTok and stuff, middle child mostly is, like, the forgotten one.
Yeah.
So only God knows what type of trauma
exactly.
they had. Because I feel like our trauma, it was, like, pon el ejemplo.
Yeah.
So that was a whole other story.
Yeah, pon el ejemplo is tough.
Like, that was our life model for a long time.
Hell
like,
yeah.
Tú eres la maestra. And I'm like, bro, I'm not certified for this.
Fuck, I went to college para poner el ejemplo.
So they could follow your footsteps. That was always it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, Karen has different shoes. Like, she's not gonna follow me.
Junior's like a fucking size 11. I know. But this was fun, friend.
It was. Dude, this is like gonna be our little therapy because therapy's expensive.
Hell yeah.
At least this, it wasn't.
Better health.
Our dynamics with our siblings, like, although maybe at one point we hated them, or like we're like, why didn't you do this, or why didn't you do that? I feel like if we wouldn't have gone through that, we wouldn't have the relationships we have with them now.
Exactly.
Now I joke around with Karen, like, all the stuff that she used to do. But it's like, girl, at one point, like, that would make me so miserable that you were doing that.
Yeah. I think we got to thank God for them.
Yeah. Because they're so unique. in their own way, and I'm like, what goes through your head sometimes? And like they'll have ideas, and the fact that they're younger and like not gonna front, like nos estamos haciendo viejitas.
No digas eso, amiga.
No, I'm serious. We're getting old in a sense that maybe no pensamos igual.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then they have new ideas, new like interests, and I'm like, damn, you gotta teach me to stay young.
Yeah.
That
we gotta stick close to them.
Yeah. So I could feel young. I'm gonna be the 40-year-old lady trying to wear a crop top.
And then Jen's generation's a whole different level that I will never understand.
I don't know. But the good thing is though, with Alex, I don't know his generation that well yet.
We love him.
Yeah.
For sure.
That was our take on older sisters.
Yeah.
And
that was our first episode.
I know. How do you feel?
I'm excited. I was nervous in the beginning, but I feel like it was just having another chat with you. Honestly.
It's like if we're just catching up on life. Yeah. And not for nothing, we do this off camera.
Honestly, the other day we were like upstairs and we were like, get the cameras, connect the mics.
I know. At that point, we like have these conversations, and it's good to hear other stories.
Yeah.
Because it's like, even if we're not going through the same thing, there's other people that do.
Exactly.
And like, it's not that you're alone, because at that point, like when you're going through certain things, you're like, I'm the only one, and you're not.
Exactly.
Like there's gonna be maybe not a billion people, but at least a good 100 that probably went through something same or similar.
And there's people who bottle up their emotions and stuff like that, and they don't want to talk about it. At least if you're going through the same thing, that in future podcasts, or if maybe we mention something that happened today that maybe you went through it as well, just know that it happened, like how Randy said, not maybe to everyone, but to a handful of us, and that you guys aren't alone for whatever topic that we talk about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like maybe we won't go through what you went through, but like we're always here to like understand.
And maybe just talking to someone, even if you have like a close friend, or maybe a parent, I don't know, a friend, or maybe a complete stranger. Sometimes strangers are you know what I mean?
That's why therapy is so good, because they don't know you.
Exactly. To talk about it, because once you talk about it and it starts coming out, and you see that, you know what, I survived whatever I went through, you're like, damn, I'm pretty dope.
Yeah, and then not even that, you feel like lifted off your chest.
Exactly.
That you don't have to carry that with you anymore. I feel way better, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like I look at my sister now and I'm like, I don't hate you, girl.
Yeah. It's like, let me go hug them. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Don't forget to follow us on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Just an Idiot Podcast. And we'll see you next Wednesday at 6 p.m.
All right, you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.